Weekend here to recap as the Magic take game one in Detroit against Detroit. I'm Lauren Rosen, joined by Antonio Daniels. It's our first upset of weekend one of the 2026 playoffs. Antonio, shall we get right into what happened?
Let's do it.
Antonio, tell me, how did Orlando pull off this upset? All five starters finish in double figures. You said that Paolo Banchero playing better than you've seen him play in a long, long time. What did you like about what Orlando was able to do in game one?
Okay, Lauren, there are two things that kind of jump off the screen to me. One of them is the whole rest versus rhythm conversation that you always hear when you're talking about sports at the end of the year. Remember, the Detroit Pistons haven't played a game since last Sunday, but the Orlando Magic played 2 games this week, and it looked like it today. Orlando looked like a team that was in regular season rhythm, but understood the magnitude of the game. The Detroit Pistons, on the other hand, you can tell by the start of the game, they look like a team that was trying to find that rhythm that they had to end the regular season. You can't simulate these games in practice. You can't simulate it. Orlando looked like a team that was in rhythm, and the Detroit Pistons looked like a team that was somewhat rusty from the jump.
You're taking a look at Cade Cunningham. He is indeed back, and you mentioned sort of the way that they're going to need to find a little bit of a rhythm. A reminder that Cade missed a significant chunk of the end of the season due to that collapsed lung, right? So what did you see from him? He does finish with a game-high 39 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, but not quite enough. Like you said, not quite humming the way that this Pistons team has this season when it's at its best.
And the thing is, when you come to this part of the season, Lauren, you're not really concerned with the stars. The stars are going to show up. There's a reason why they are who they are. There's a reason Cade Cunningham is in the MVP conversation. He's not the guy that you're worried about. He's going to show up every single night. But it's on him to kind of get everybody involved, to set the tone. And when you look at this Detroit Pistons team all year, this is a team that operated out of defense. That's their identity. That's who J.B. Bickerstaff is. And they never really took the Orlando Magic out of what they wanted to run. This is the best, as you just said, Lauren. This is the best to me that Paolo Banchero has looked in months. And the Orlando Magic are going to go as Paolo Banchero goes, plain and simple.
So when Banchero is at this level, right, and the rest of the starters are able to move around him the way that they were able to tonight, let's take a quick pass through those guys. Franz Wagner, 19. Wendell Carter, Desmond Bane, both score 17. Suggs has 16. They all participated in the rebounding game, in the assist game. When this starting five is able to hum the way it was tonight, how far can they make it in this series against the guys that have led the East all season long?
Well, I think they can make it a competitive series because the most difficult teams to guard in this league are balanced teams that are balanced across the board. And when Paolo Banchero is playing like this, he now becomes a gravity guy. By gravity guy, I mean you can't simply guard him with one guy. Now you have to tilt the floor toward him. The moment you tilt the floor toward him, that makes the game stress-free for everybody you just named. Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter, all these other guys that are coming off the bench, Desmond Bane, and are playing extremely well because you get an opportunity to play off of Paolo Banchero's gravity. In the last month and a half or so, Paolo Banchero hasn't been in the type of rhythm that he was in tonight. But this shows, honestly, how dangerous this Orlando Magic can be when Paolo Banchero is playing at this level.
A closer look at our stats. Looking at the Pistons side of things, only 2 finish in double figures. Cade Cunningham, who we've already discussed, Tobias Harris had a really strong outing in Detroit, but they're going to need more production from the Duncan Robinsons of the world, from Asar Thompson. We'll talk a little bit more about the award that he's up for in just a little bit. But what else do you want to see from the supporting cast of Detroit as this series moves along?
See, Lauren, you were just talking about the awards. Another guy who's up for one of the awards that didn't play the way that he's played all year is Jalen Duren, right? He's up for most improved player in the league. They need him. They need him. The reason that the Detroit Pistons have made the proverbial jump is because of Jalen Duren's improvement, right? He's no longer a 10, 8-point guy. He's become a 20-10 guy. And again, like we talked about what the Orlando Magic need to be successful, for the Detroit Pistons to be successful, it cannot be all on Cade Cunningham's shoulders. It can't be. They need that 2-man game. that Jokic Murray that has now become Cunningham and Duren, they need Duren to pull his weight as well.
Well, speaking of award nominees, and we'll get further into who those finalists are as announced by the NBA earlier this evening. JB Bickerstaff, finalist for Coach of the Year this year. He was on the losing end of Game 1. What adjustments does he want to see from his Pistons team moving forward? Let's take a listen now.
JB, felt like the team just came out flat tonight. Where did you identify where the team went wrong tonight?
I thought we were a little just rusty to start. Coming out, giving up a 35-point quarter. That's not typical for us. I felt like we were just chasing them all night. We made some runs to get ourselves back in the ball game. Defensively, I didn't think we were our best. Critical, errors, mistakes that they made us pay for. Getting back to the use of playing at NBA speed, I think, got us a little bit tonight.
Hey, Coach, from your point of view, what do you think made it difficult for Jalen Duren to get things going tonight?
They packed the paint in. They're going to put a bunch of bodies in the paint to try to make it difficult on him. Our pick and roll game, making sure we're making the executing properly there can create space for him. So it was a good opportunity for us to see, and then we'll go prepare for the next one.
JB, you guys have talked about obviously spreading the ball a lot. It seemed like at times you guys weren't able to do that as much as you typically like to. Is that something you guys need to focus on again, or is that something that Orlando was doing that's maybe making it more difficult?
No, it's something that we just need to pay attention to. I thought you're spot on. There were times in the game where we got stagnant, and I feel like that happened to us because we got down early, and then it felt like, there was so much weight and so much pressure on each possession that we got to a point where we were just trying to do it all, hit a home run every time. So, again, I thought there were moments where we found what we needed to do, and we just need to replicate that more often.
Dave had it rolling, ended up almost having 40, but what's kind of the challenge of getting other people involved when they are packing the paint that way?
He's doing what he has to do. We were struggling to score. So I like the way that he was being aggressive. But again, our offense has to be, part of that fluidity that we've talked about. There's got to be more movement. We got to fight through a little bit of the physicality more, and just not settle for the first thing. But in moments, he's going to take over the games like he did tonight.
JB, you knew Orlando had that type of physical defense that maybe could match you guys. Did they even come out with more force than you thought?
No, not at all. We knew what we were going to expect. Again, I think it was just a great opportunity for us to get out, get on the court, see what it was going to feel like, and then prepare for the next one. Appreciate y'all.
Antonio, Orlando was in the driver's seat all night tonight in the Motor City. But if you look at what Detroit did, they hung around all night long. They kept it competitive. What do they need to do to get over the hump, though, as they maintain home court in Game 2?
I'll say this, Lauren. I think the Detroit Pistons will be fine because if you notice, one of the first probably 5 words out of Coach Bickerstaff's mouth was rusty. And the thing, you can scrimmage all week long, but you can't simulate a playoff atmosphere. And now he said they were trying to catch up to the speed of the game. Now I think they're okay. Sometimes you just gotta run this out. You got to get that second win. You have to get it out. I would see the Detroit Pistons from here on out in the rest of the series being okay. Because, again, you can't simulate a playoff atmosphere. You have to get out there and work the rust off. We'll see how Game 2 looks. But I felt like Detroit, after chasing that game all night, worked that rust off.
You mentioned it off the top. This is a Magic team that has been playing all week long, right? In really consequential, meaningful games, meaningful minutes in order to earn their spot here in the first round and making the most of it in Game 1. Still to come on the show, we'll keep hearing from coaches, players alike coming out of this first game in this series. Then we'll look ahead at our nightcap as well. Alongside Antonio Daniels, I'm Lauren Rosen. We're just getting started here on NBA TV, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.